Hey, welcome to Home Video Hangouts. In today's video, I'm going to be discussing why I believe it still makes sense to collect CDs in 2024. Many people have gotten rid of their CD collections because of the convenience brought by services like Apple Music and Spotify. But I'm going to be sharing why I think that could be changing. So as with all forms of physical media, when you purchase a CD, you have ownership of that CD and that album and that music on that CD. Streaming services charge you a monthly fee in order to access their vast library of music. But with that fee, you don't know exactly what you're going to get. At any time, they could add music to that service, they could remove music from that service, and they could modify music on that service. I've seen this happen a lot with Apple Music, for example. Many times I will add music to my Apple Music library, and then it'll be a song I like, and then later on I'll have a totally different version of that song in my library. And I don't understand why Apple does that, but that's something where you never know what you're actually going to have when you download that music. And plus, you never really permanently have any of it. You don't own any of it, you just have the right to access it while you're paying that subscription. Whereas if you buy a CD, you can listen to that CD as much as you want. You can upload it to your computer and put it on an MP3 player or iPad or iPod or something like that, or your iPhone in digital form. And you can listen to it digitally as much as you want then. Plus, you still have the physical CD in the case, which in some cases will have special like bonus content. It'll have a booklet inside you could look through. It'll have album artwork. And so I think there's something special about actually owning the physical CD in the same way there's something special about owning other forms of physical media. In addition, CDs still have high quality audio on them. For a long time, CDs were the highest quality audio you could get. Later on, there were higher quality SACDs, and there are now higher quality streaming services. But back when CDs were more popular and as iTunes was kind of on the rise, a lot of times the music you got from iTunes wasn't as high of quality as it was on CDs. Now with things like Apple Music and Spotify, we're seeing much higher digitally streamed content, but with that, it does require a higher speed internet connection, which if you're listening to music on the go on your phone, your car or something, you may not always have that. And if you download those files, those will take a lot of space on your phone or your iPod or something like that. And those will take some time to download as well. So there's still a benefit to having a CD that has high quality audio on it that you can listen to at any time just by putting the CD in. And you could still, again, put that on your electronic devices to listen on the go as well. But there's still something to be said about the quality that is on CDs. Now for a discussion about affordability. So many people think that streaming services, including music streaming services, are a great deal because of their pricing and all the music or content you get with the price that you pay per month, or maybe per year in some cases. But I would say that there's still a lot of value in CDs, and that we're in a point right now where CDs are still available on the used market, and they're still being sold new in some cases, either directly by the artist or in some major stores or online. And I think if you go on a hunt for used CDs, you'll find some really great deals right now. We haven't yet seen the uptick in popularity of collecting CDs that we've seen with vinyl and video games, but we're starting to see that happen. And there's some really interesting things happening in the collection market around CDs. One interesting thing I heard about was that different companies that rate collectibles like action figures, trading cards, things like that, are starting to rate and grade CDs. Like, for example, if you have a popular CD in the original packaging, you can send it off to get graded and encased, and then you have that for your collection. And that could add some value to someone's collection if you're someone who's really passionate about music, and say they're your favorite album you could find graded and sealed. That could be a cool thing to have in your collection, and people will pay money for that who are collectors. But we haven't seen a major uptick in that yet. Right now, you could still go to a lot of record stores and thrift stores and find CDs really cheap because a lot of people think that people aren't collecting CDs right now. And I think over time, we're going to see more of a transition, though, to where CDs are going to be like vinyl and like video games, where it may not be as large as the culture there is around video games and vinyl, but there's still going to be a certain amount of people that want to collect CDs. I still know some people who even have the visor CD holders in their car, and they play CDs that way in their car, and There's people who like them for the audio quality they offer, and one of my family members even likes them just for the artwork and the booklets that come with them. So there's a lot of reasons people will still collect these, but now is a great time to start collecting them before they go way up in value potentially. And one more note on that though is we see something slightly different here with CDs than we would with video games or vinyl. Video games and vinyl were produced in more limited quantities than CDs were. CD was a very popular format where there were hundreds of thousands or millions of them sold, and an individual album could have millions of copies sold, to where there's tons of those CDs out there, even for really popular albums. And so, for example, if there's a really popular album you like that was released on vinyl and CD, CD is probably way easier to find used than the vinyl would be, and at a much lower cost. So it's probably going to be a while before, just based on supply and demand, we see a major uptick in cost for CDs. And that's another reason I say now is a great time to kind of build your collection while they're cheap, because this may not last forever. Now, one last point I wanted to make about the importance of collecting CDs is CDs offer a special kind of relationship between musicians and their fans. So when you purchase a CD, for one, you're supporting your favorite band or musician a lot more than if you're just streaming their music on a streaming service. When you stream your favorite artist's songs or album on a streaming service like Spotify and Apple Music, they're getting fractions of a penny per stream typically on these streaming services, to where they have to get tons of streams and tons of attention for that to even be helpful for them or for them to make much money. Whereas if they sell a CD to you, they're getting a moderate amount of the portion of that sale. And so buying CDs, especially directly from the band, like at one of their concerts or something, is going to support them way more than any kind of streaming service ever will. And in addition to that, there's a special relationship where if you buy a CD, especially at like a band's table at one of their concerts, you could have them sign it. You can get a picture with them, or you're holding your signed CD, and have that as a forever memory in your collection. And that can add value to CDs as well when they're signed by the artist. And the CDs I have in my collection are primarily CDs where that exact thing happened. I went to a concert, I purchased the artist CD, and then I had them sign it for me. And those have a lot of sentimental value to me. I don't collect a lot of CDs, but the ones I will keep in my collection forever are the ones where I bought them at a concert and got them signed by the artist and have memories attached to them. So that's another thing to consider here, is there's a much more special relationship you could have with CDs and their creators through buying CDs. In conclusion, CDs always have and still do offer a way for fans of music to own their favorite songs and albums and connect with their favorite musicians on a deeper level. They are also a way we can support our favorite artist more than we can through streaming services in a very competitive industry where it's hard for musicians to make it. So I hope you enjoyed this perspective on collecting CDs in 2024. Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are on collecting CDs, and make sure you hit the like button and subscribe button down below to stay updated on my latest video releases where I talk about collecting physical media. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.